Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Soul Goals. If you're watching on YouTube, look what's next to me. My beautiful friend
What
is back.
up? Yes.
Hey, Dixie, come on. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here.
I am so glad to be here.
Yeah, life has been lifing for you, right?
Life has definitely been lifing. That is a perfect way to put that.
Yeah. I think like for the premise of the Soul Goals podcast, it's talking about our connecting with other people, our relatability with other people, and what it is that we're all going through in an effort to find similarities, to find comfort, to find to know that you're not alone in anything that you're doing. So if you're comfortable sharing a little bit about where you've been, I would love for you to kind of maybe open that container a bit and let the folks know that, hey, you've been in a little bit of a struggle bus with your family stuff for a while.
Yeah, it has. It's been wow, it was a curveball that none of us saw coming.
Mhm.
Um we I don't know if I said this on the last podcast, but anyway, my husband, we I was at work and took a fall. I think we talked about this on
Yes,
another
we did.
podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had taken a fall and then discovered that I had osteoarthritis in both of my knees, bone on bone, whatever. Then had some blood work done that showed inflammation markers like through the roof, gut dysbiosis. So they put me on an anti-inflammatory protocol, which is something I'm in the throes of now in my
Right.
second week, because that actually had to be put on hold because of some family stuff that came up.
Right.
Um, so same week I fall, my husband tears both meniscus, a meniscus in each knee, and is going to have surgery on both. So not at the same time. They don't recommend that.
Right.
Um,
That might be a little much. Yeah.
right. So so we're in mid July. Um, probably early July. Can you hear that ding in my computer?
It's okay. It's fine.
Okay, sorry. I
Oh,
have a new computer, guys, and I don't know how to work it yet. So
good.
they early July, my mother-in-law started having some health issues, and they found out that she had cancer in her small intestine.
Mm,
So she had some internal bleeding that they couldn't find, and so her blood pressure was really low, her heart rate was really low, so they couldn't let her out of the hospital until they figured out where all this bleeding was coming from, figured out that she had cancer in her small intestine, kind of figured out what to do about that, and then sent her home, and then they were gonna do treatments and stuff for that cancer. Um, the day that she was being sent home, we found out that a very dear friend of ours passed away, and his funeral, his memorial was coming up on a Saturday. It's
mhm.
not a random Saturday. It was like I don't know, the 9th, the 8th, something 5th. I don't know.
Right.
Um, and all my dates run together. And so it was early July on a Saturday.
Hmm.
So they released her from the hospital on a Friday. I drove down to Mississippi on a Friday to attend the memorial on Saturday and to see her because she
Right.
had been kind of going through it. And Mark was overseas at work at the time. And
Your husband,
my
who this is his
husband,
mom.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Um, and if I chase the squirrel, just rattle me back in because there's a lot going on here.
Okay. Okay.
But so uh, I go to the memorial that Saturday morning, and then I go see my brother who lives in the area over
Mhm.
there. While I'm at my brother's house, my sister-in-law texts me and says, we just called an ambulance. Um, Mom can't stand up. She's can't feel her legs.
Oh God.
So they were just
After
eating.
just being released and sent home.
Right. And that Friday night, she was walking around the house. She was fine. That morning, she was fine. They sat down to eat lunch, and she just got up from eating lunch and couldn't get up. She was like, "I can't feel my legs."
Mm,
And so ambulance takes her to the ER, and I meet them in the ER, which we spend all night long in the ER. She doesn't get to a room until like 4. I think I left at 4 a.m. And she didn't get to a room until closer to lunchtime the next day. They discovered that she had a pulmonary embolism while she was in the ER, which are blood clots in your lungs, if nobody
sure.
knows what that is. So they started treating her immediately for that. And then they did a full body scan, MRIs, all ultrasounds, all the things, and discovered that she had a tumor in her C4.
Oh, wow. In the
That's
spine?
why her legs, she couldn't feel her legs,
Oh
and
gosh.
they said that she had probably had it for a while, and
Mhm.
it just went undetected, and then it, just suddenly, for some reason, decided, "This is the day."
Yeah.
But it was not, the surgeon did not recommend surgery.
Mm.
Um, he said that the surgery is the only way to take care of the tumor, but it's no guarantee that it will,
Yeah.
and the stress that that surgery has on the body. So she elected not to do that. Family all supported her. So they decided to keep her in the hospital for 2 weeks, and they were going to do 10 radiation treatments within 2 weeks.
I've got
And
so
so,
much.
so I took my husband's overseas. It's just,
Mhm.
so I took time off from work and went to help my sister-in-law that, for that first week. No, maybe it was 10 and 7 or 8 days. It was crazy. It was a radiation treatment a day.
Yeah.
So after 7 or 8 of those, she was in so much pain
Mm.
that, they said if they looked at it, the tumor was not decreasing in size at all, and she was in tremendous pain.
Mhm.
So she decided, "Just
I'm done.
I'm done with
Yeah.
this." And so, at this point, it was about quality of life,
Yeah.
and so they discharged her home with hospice. Um, that was on, around the, I don't know, the 11th or 12th, or they discharged her home, and then my husband got home on a Thursday
Mhm.
and went to see them and went to see her. So that was on a Thursday. He got home on Tuesday, the 15th of July. He
Okay.
came home from, Mississippi. So he had surgery on the 16th. She passed away on the 17th. And then we found my mother unresponsive on our back porch on the 18th.
Oh, Dixie.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how life just, boom, just one thing
Yeah.
after the other.
Yeah.
And, so we call, an ambulance for my mother. She has
Right.
a heart rate. My my daughter actually went to let the dog out, um, and found her and
Mm.
was like, "Mom," and so we called
Mhm.
911. Mark was able to rouse her, get her awake. We didn't know. I mean,
No
she was just
idea.
laying down. We have a sofa on our back, like, outdoor sofa on our back porch,
Mhm.
and it looked like she had just sat down and just gone to sleep.
Yeah.
So, paramedics got there. Her, blood pressure was 235/80,
Oh,
and
heavens.
her heart rate was 34. So,
Wow.
something's not right. So they immediately take her to the emergency room. We spend all night in the emergency room, and she's very confused, doesn't really understand what's
Mhm.
happening, and,
Mhm.
so we, get admitted
Mhm.
into a cardiology floor, and, the staff was great, they were wonderful. They do an EKG on the cardiology floor because her heart rate will not come back up. And no stroke, no heart attack, which is kind of a miracle when your blood pressure is
Right?
235, but
Yeah.
the bottom number was 80, so that's what didn't make any sense. Usually, if you're gonna stroke or heart attack, both numbers are really high.
Sure, sure.
Um, so they did 2, EKGs for her, on the cardiology floor, and
Mm.
promptly moved her in the middle of the night to ICU
Yeah.
because she had a full, heart block is what they call it. So
Mhm.
your arteries aren't clogged, it's an electrical problem.
Oh,
Um,
that's so interesting.
yes, they call it a full heart block. She
Okay.
had a full, like, a grade, the highest grade there is,
Okay.
which means that your ventricle and your atrium, for kind of a layman way to put it, they're not singing in harmony.
Okay.
And so the heart is just trying to pump blood,
Pushing, pushing.
pushing and
Yeah.
pushing, and, but the heart rate won't rise. So
Mhm. Mm.
it's like slow motion, but
Mhm.
really, really struggling.
A lot of intensity there. Yeah.
Yes, the heart is doing that, and that
Mm.
is so they that's what a pacemaker is for.
Yeah.
So they, gave her a pacemaker and
Okay.
got her heart completely fine.
Yeah.
Um, but then it became evident to us that, and suggested to us she needs round the clock support. Like she's
Yeah.
super independent. Like she
Sure.
can, but she gets confused really easy and she forgets things. And so she can't be alone anymore in the home. So
Mhm.
before, when she lived with us, we all did our thing and,
Yeah.
coming and going. And um, she was great. But now she's a walker. Now my house isn't handicap accessible. I mean, that's not
Right.
a problem. We can fix that. But she
Right.
can't,
But
um, she needed to be independent, but also have support when needed. And so I had taken family medical leave to take care of her. So I think I was on family medical leave for 6 weeks
yeah.
or 5 weeks, and, almost this past Wednesday would be 3 weeks
Okay.
that we found a wonderful place in the area,
Okay.
assisted living, a community where she can have her own things.
Yeah. So still have a semblance of independence, but like you
Yes.
said, have that accessibility if she needed something.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the thing that makes it difficult in this season is just seeing somebody that was so vibrant your whole life just, you
Mhm.
know, decline and,
Yeah.
and need support that you can't give them, uh,
Yes.
to
Yeah.
know that you're unable, like,
Yeah. You
is
feel helpless almost.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
really hard, and then it's hard I can't imagine how it feels, in their brain either. To
Right.
be like, "Okay, this is real, and this is very much, like me getting older," if for lack of a better term, I don't know, I hate the word decline, but in order for her to have a good quality of life and have friends and have community, and support, when she needs it, it was the absolute best decision
Yeah.
for her because we she'd kinda, I said, outkicked my coverage of the ability to care
What
for
you could
her.
do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Your heart is there saying, I can do this, but what
mhm,
you were capable of doing for her for what she needed, that's the problem. Yeah.
yeah, and then that whole relationship changes when you are somebody's primary caretaker.
Yeah.
Uh, you're a caretaker first, and then you get to be daughter second, and that's not easy, because
Mhm.
you're grieving in real time, if that makes any sense.
Totally.
Um,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, so that's what we've been doing, but she's adjusting great. She's doing well. You know, um, all of us are in and out at different times to go see her, and she's
Okay.
made friends, and she's doing really good, and the facility is really, um, is really great. I have nothing but good things to say. So, but those conversations and, prior to and those, the transitions are, that's probably the hardest thing I've ever done
Yeah.
in my life. And,
And all of it so quickly with
mhm,
no real warning. I think that's the biggest thing that I'm taking away listening to you is that our life can just knock us on our tush like in a second.
mhm,
And it reminds us of our mortality
mhm,
and what it is that who we are. And as we see our like aging parents, like that's a big thing.
mhm,
It definitely gives us a bit of a gut check for ourselves and what we're doing to take care of ourselves. But then, like you said, it's the grieving in real time. I think that's a really great line.
mhm,
And that makes a lot of sense because you you didn't have the opportunity to sit down and really process it. You just were thrown into it. And I think that's what so many of us go through when we have different experiences that oof, like just like pop up
yeah,
immediately like that. There's like you can it's the fight or flight or freeze kind of thing. We
right,
all operate differently, but I think the thing that we've always talked about in our house with just general things is it doesn't go away.
mm-mm,
Yeah, like you're gonna have to figure out a way to move through it. And I'm
mhm.
so, so proud of you. You are one of the strongest people that I know.
No,
And
you don't feel strong in the moment,
I
but
know, I
but
know.
you do what you have to do, I had some blood work done, and, I was talking, to the practitioner about it, and they were looking at my s cortisol levels, the stress hormone in your body.
Well, yes, it's a big deal.
It's a huge
Like,
deal, and
yeah,
she was like, "I don't even" know how you function or you're functioning right now with these numbers. And I'm like, well, what else do we do? Like, I can't
Yeah.
say, hey guys, I'm feeling very stressed out. So I'm tapping out. You can't do that with your
No.
loved ones. You don't. And we don't, you don't tap out. You do what you have to do. Um, and I'm grateful that I had a job that I was able to take
Yeah.
FMLA and they were supportive. And I mean, on a dime, like it all turned on a dime.
Mhm.
And the people that I work for were just on it.
Yeah.
I mean, and people from, I work for a restaurant group. We have different restaurants in the area. People
Mhm.
from different restaurants were coming in and covering my days because it was like one day I was at work and the next day I wasn't for 6 weeks.
6 weeks, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
There's a
like
big hole there.
yeah, and, everybody reached out. I mean, it was you realize, I knew I worked for a good company,
Mhm.
but then when you go through something, you're like, "Oh, wait, these people are legit." Like, we
Yeah.
are they're they th this is these are legit, really great people who
Meaningful, super
care.
meaningful. It
Yeah,
just hits differently. I think, I like the line that you said, "You don't tap out."
right.
You don't tap
You
out
just
because
can't.
yeah. So I think too, if we think back about what we've been doing this year, because we're on week 50 and we're going to talk about running it back to our least favorite activity for the year in
Mhm.
week 50. That's kind of a
Right.
recap. And I know before I hit the record, we were
Yes.
talking about what we're gonna say, and you're like, "Well, it's probably been my least favorite month right now with
Right, right.
going
I do
on."
have, though, one more thing to say. I wanted to
Yes.
share, um, that I thought was beautiful, and I'm in a very hard situation.
Mhm.
It was such a beautiful moment, with my husband's mom, my mother-in-law. She's really the matriarch of our family on his side, um, always, praying for her children, very vocal, speaking blessing over her children and grandchildren,
Mhm.
and, um I read somewhere where we're like our age, like I'm 55, so we call it the sandwich. We're in that sandwich period of life where
Love that.
we are super excited about watching our kids like grow into these amazing humans that we've always prayed they would be.
Right.
And they're doing the thing and they're living their best life and they're thriving. And then we're watching um, a parent, my mother in law, like end of life days. And when my husband got home, all of when he was overseas, and so they got him home early, and he
Mhm.
was the last one home. And she actually, for every single one of us, was able to speak to all of us, all of her children, all of her grandchildren. She held every great grandchild, and she blessed us all
Oh god, Dixie, I have chills.
before she passed away. That's the most beautiful thing.
Yeah. Oh, I
I
know.
just can't. And so
No.
there is what was the worst week? There was little shining
Yeah.
bright spots too. Like, what a blessing that is. What a gift to be able to do that,
Yeah.
knowing, knowing you're not gonna be here, but
Yeah.
having the strength and the wherewithal to, like, just love on your people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's boy,
That's the ultimate sacrifice for me.
yeah, that's what I want,
Yeah.
but I don't wanna wait till I'm on she taught and she didn't wait until she was on her deathbed. She
Mhm.
always did that.
Right.
But I walked away from that experience, like, do not sit on encouragement, do not sit on the words, "I love you, I'm here for you, you're doing the thing," like, just speak life over people every single opportunity you have, and
Yeah.
that is what I learned, just speak all the good things over people,
Yeah.
because life is just way too short and it's too fickle, and it's no respecter of persons, it just happens to everybody. And
Yes.
so I just was like, boy, what I'm learning here is for my children to always know,
Yeah.
how great they're doing and um, how much they're loved and supported and cared
Mhm.
for. And not just my kids, but, everybody around me.
Your community. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Don't
So,
you just said, "Do not sit on it. Do not sit on
mm-mm,
it." And that life you're right, life is so fickle. It
mhm.
is so fickle. It is not respective of us.
Anything. It doesn't care. It
Yeah.
just happens. And
It
so,
just happens.
yeah, so that's
It's
what
more
I've
important to connect with those people in our communities and how
Mhm,
you do that and finding that peace for yourself and what that says and where you're directed to go with that. Like the meaning in your mother-in-law's words to each one of you.
mhm.
That's there you go. That's
Yeah,
her gift. That's her way. And
yeah,
look what she left you in that. That's
mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you
so it
so
was
much for sharing that.
yeah, I had to get that out there because it's not always there's always, as crazy and, as fickle and
Mhm.
as unexpected as life is, um, there's always, you know, something that shines a light somewhere, you know? There
Mhm.
is a silver lining somewhere,
Right, right.
and you don't always see it immediately. You may not see it until, you're way past it, but, it just
I
so
think you
happened.
gotta look for it too, though.
Yeah.
I think there are some times when you gotta flip some stones over, and I think you gotta be willing to do some of that work, and I think that's kind of what this year has been about, that we've been
Mhm.
working through in these different exercises that we've been doing each week, and
Mhm.
going into that flipping a stone over to see
Yeah.
what it is that we need to work more through for ourselves, we need to process more fully,
Mhm.
or that maybe we just need to know about how we interrelate with other people or interact with our world
Mhm.
that helps us. And I think, like, with the experience that you just went through, all the intensity that it brought, but yet the other side, like you said here, we're kind of on the other side of it, so you're in the processing piece of it now.
Mhm.
What a really beautiful switch and a pendulum, like, happening from one side to the other, to really find that middle ground and to go, I have been so blessed with this community and this experience, and I can look for those shiny moments and go,
Mhm.
this is what I can hang on to. This
Yeah.
is what I can hang on to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not always gonna be sitting in the, "Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do?"
Right.
You know? "What am
Right.
I gonna do here? How am I gonna" if you go back to my mom, it's like, "What" I'm looking at her in the ICU, and I'm like, "Well, how am I gonna do this? What am
Yeah.
I gonna do?"
Yeah.
You know?
It
And
things all evolve and things all move forward. Like, time
Mhm.
doesn't stand still. Just like you were talking about life, it's not respective of what we feel like we need to have happen.
Mhm.
So I know, we actually was just texting my daughter about this the other day. Like,
Mhm.
today's bad experience does not dictate what tomorrow will bring.
Right. Right.
You do not know. And if tomorrow brings another fickle kind of experience,
Mhm.
what can you do with that? Or
Mhm.
can you choose to look? I mean, 1%. I know you used to always say this. 1%. We just want 1%. Can
Mhm.
we find 1%? Can we find just a little sliver? Because that's a difference. And
Yeah. No,
that
for sure.
sheds light, and that gives just a little bit of grace to the situation that could totally shift something for you in a really
Mhm.
unexpected but beautiful way.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So
Oh, well, I'm so glad you're back.
me
And
too. I'm glad
yeah,
to be back.
missed you
Getting
so
back to a
much.
new normal and all the things, so, yeah.
Mhm. In the sandwich. I love it. We're in the sandwich ages.
Yes, I wish I could take credit for that. I wish I came up with that myself, but I didn't.
That's a good
I
one. That's
read
a
it
good one.
somewhere and I was like, "That makes perfect sense," because,
Ding.
Jeff Foxworthy said that, in his stand-up on Netflix
Uh-huh.
that, he said, "We're in the strangest place," and he said, "Because we're launching our kids out the door, and
Mhm.
then our parents are coming back in the door. It's like they pass in the driveway."
That's right. He's not wrong.
I know. And so same thing, just different way to say it. It's like they're
Yeah,
passing in
yeah.
the driveway,
I
so
like
yeah.
that. I like that. Well, so speaking of just kind of
Hmm.
times that have been challenging, I want to go back and run it back this week to our least favorite exercise that we took part in this year during this
Yeah.
process. And I'm just going to tell you two of them
What's yours?
popped
You
up.
go first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for me, two of them popped up, and they're just so randomly crazy. And it just shows me, because I know yours is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
You're a different person, but it just shows the difference in how we all process, because mine was dumping the vent, not complaining.
Mhm.
Really hard for me, because the first instinct that I have is to go, "Ugh,"
Mhm.
"Ugh." like just grab and just be,
Yeah.
ugh, and try to just pull back, take a breath,
Mhm.
chill out for a minute before I automatically go into why is this happening? What's going on? Tasmanian
Yeah.
on it. And my my other one was the water world episode. I like
Oh, yeah, you did have trouble with that water.
I'm still having trouble with the water
Oh,
ask
oh
my
my
family.
god.
I had a headache the other day, and my husband was like, "How much water have you drank?" It's like 6 o'clock at night. I said, "I mean, I didn't work out today." He goes, "Yeah, but you were working outside in the yard." I was like, "Yeah, I probably had one bottles, maybe one or two bottles,
Like a half a bottle.
half a bottle, maybe." Yeah. And he's like, "What is happening? Why can't you just?" I don't know what that hangup is for me, other than I just need to make a choice, do it, commit to it, and know that I feel better when I do it. I know it.
Yeah. You said I had like 3 or 4 ounces,
That's
maybe?
just right.
That's
But like
great.
it goes back to the whole thing we've talked about all year is if we know something makes us better and we know something makes us feel better and contributes to
Mhm.
us in our lives in a positive way, why in the hairy canary do we not just do it?
In the hairy canary.
I
That's
mean, I
great.
don't like
I
that's
love it.
my
That's so
parent
fun.
that's my parents' age. God, I'm stepping into that part of the sandwich. I'm stepping in.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
oh,
Love it. I
yeah.
love it.
So I randomly, those are the two things. And I mean, those are always things that I'm working on. I've
Mhm.
not been super successful. I've been more
Mhm.
successful at dumping the vent because I think for me, that's been a real awareness that I'll journal about when I have a time in the
Mhm.
morning or that will pop up in a devotional that will remind me to kind of pause. And I
Yeah.
also have a really great, I have a really great tattoo on my arm that says pause with a semicolon, breathe,
Yeah.
semicolon, and then resume. And then it has an ellipsis after it. Like life goes on.
Yeah.
So for suicide prevention, suicide
Mhm.
awareness and prevention month in September, which is where we are right now, I think that has been I can look down on my arm and go, okay, I can pause. I can take
Mhm.
a deep breath. Life is going to carry on, whether I do this the right way or the wrong way. And who's to say what is right? Who's to say what is wrong? That's all a judgment in my own mind. So, not to
Mhm.
get too philosophical there,
And
but
you are your own worst critic too. Like, you think
yeah,
you're failing, like, if it's one thing I've learned in this last couple months is that I am not a great encourager of myself. And I
mhm,
learned this, I mean, I've always known I was hard on myself, but just, realizing just having grace for myself, like,
yeah,
and giving myself some, mercy
yeah,
where and treating myself the way I would treat you. Like, if you were going through something and you were saying some of the things that I was saying to myself, I would be like, "Wait a minute.
yeah,
No, no, no. Look, we need to back up because look at this. Look what you've done here. Look how you're handling this. What you're doing is not easy, but my gosh, you're doing so well with the deck you've been given. You can
right,
only play the cards that you've been dealt."
right.
And but I wasn't given that grace to myself. I was really beating myself down and then had to find a way to come out of that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we are our own worst critic.
I will 110% agree with you on that.
Yeah, and we speak to ourselves in ways that we would never speak to somebody
Isn't
else.
that amazing? When I think about that, a
Mhm,
therapist taught me that years ago, and, like, that was a huge light bulb moment in that session. I was like,
mhm,
"Woof." Like,
mhm,
I had just had a conversation going into that session with a girlfriend that was struggling with something completely unrelated to where I was at the time,
mhm,
and I was compassionate. I was able to offer her an empathetic ear and
mhm,
give her, I hear a validation. I hear what you're saying. I'm so sorry. What can I do to help? And I go into a therapy session and it's we're unfolding and unpacking some pretty deep stuff and I'm
mhm,
just saying really nasty things about myself and how I'm processing them and what it
mhm.
is that I believe about myself. And
Right.
therein lies a big root, a big piece of why it is that I'm sitting in a therapist's office unpacking my stuff. You know?
Right,
So
right.
yeah, there
But you
you
would
go.
never say those things to somebody else because
Ever.
they're hurtful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's something I'm learning and something I've really tried to put into practice over this probably 6 months, even
Mhm.
before this ever happened.
Uh-huh.
And it was an exercise that we did, and I can't remember which one it was, honestly, but um, just if I would never say it to someone else face to face, then I'm not going to type it, I'm not going to text it, and I'm not going to say it to myself.
I love that.
And that's brought me a lot of peace.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. It's very grounding what you just said.
Mhm.
It's very tangible what you said as well. And I think again it goes back to that you have to make a choice, and I think the circumstances, the cards you were just recently dealt the course of the
Mhm.
past couple of months, knowing that about yourself probably helped you walk through that with maybe 1% more ease. Maybe not 50% more ease, but 1%, which is like you always say, like that's just a bit. Just we're looking just for the slightest bit to make the difference because that's where a difference can happen.
Mhm. Or
Yeah.
0.5%.
I'll go with a quarter of a percent.
I don't
Certainly.
know. I spent a lot of that 6 months, dealing with a lot of anxiety and,
Yeah.
and just having to, which is funny to me that this leads to m one of my least favorite
Okay.
activities. The activities that, even though in the moment I was grateful for the activity, I I think the ones that I need the most are probably the ones that were my least favorite. But
Always.
if it had to do with, stillness, sitting still, like
Oh,
the
wow.
yoga and being really self-aware and all of that, I was like, "Oh my gosh," because 'cause I'd put it off and then did it at the last minute, and I didn't love it, but I didn't
Yeah.
hate it, but I thought, "I need more of this in my life," which I have not incorporated more of that in my life,
Yeah.
but I realized, had I been paying attention and listening to, um maybe I was being set up to have a practice that would have made me less anxious
Mm-mm.
in a very difficult time. Now,
Mhm.
I'm not going back and, like, beating myself up about that.
Right.
However, if it's I did go back and say, "Boy, was the Lord trying to prepare me
Mhm.
for what I needed in the time, like a stillness
Yeah.
practice?" I mean, I pray and I read and all that, but just, it's really hard to think about anything else when you are, like, doing yoga or, like, whatever.
Yeah.
So, because I find myself in prayer, praying for the things that are making me anxious, but I can't
Mhm.
really think about anything else when I'm doing yoga because I'm just thinking about, "Oh my god, I gotta hold myself up. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm sweating. Oh my gosh, ah."
Right.
And so I wonder, had I embraced what I didn't enjoy, that the fruit of that would have made caused less anxiety in my life going through a hard time.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll never know.
We won't, but like that's a great thing to examine. I mean, you're
Mhm.
not beating yourself up, you're examining that. And I think that's part of this year. You're overturning those rocks and going, what does that mean for me?
Mhm.
What is what is like that's something that just kind of popped into my conscious mind. That was we use 10% of our brain, the other 90% is filing, faxing, sorting, doing all that stuff back there. That's a file that just kind of came forward on
Mhm.
the front table.
Yeah.
So, let's open it up and look at that. And, anxiety and gratitude, they can't exist in the same box.
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
stillness is, I would count stillness as a piece of that too.
Mhm.
When your focus is in that, like prayer, meditation,
Mhm.
you can feel anxious, but the heart of that stuff is it's hard to pack the two things
Mhm.
simultaneously in that bag
Yes.
and make them both fit.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I've always had a gratitude practice. I think it's probably one of the things that I am really good at, because I see how there's just there is no bad fruit that comes from being grateful.
Yeah.
And so but it's changed a little bit for me. And so when my alarm clock goes off in the morning, I don't even get out of bed. I just lay there, take some deep breaths, and I think about I have a gratitude. I'm thankful before I ever stand up.
Mm.
Because I don't know what the day is gonna hold. So I need to pop up for the first time with a grateful heart. And
Yeah.
And that helps everybody, I think. So,
Oh, for sure. Tell me how
mhm.
you got to that point where that became a regular practice for you.
It started with in this whole time of well, gratitude, like just getting up, writing down gratitudes throughout the day. I've always done that, but this
Yeah.
whole like before my feet hit the ground
Yeah.
um happened because one morning I was in this whole craziness of the last 6 weeks. Um, my family was gone to my mother-in-law's funeral and I couldn't be there because my mother was in the ICU, and my brother was home, and we were taking turns spending the night in the
Yeah.
ICU. So I would go home one night and sleep at home, and then he would come to my house and sleep at home. And the first night that I was home by myself, because everybody was gone to the funeral, that next morning I woke up, and I woke up like feeling very anxious about the day and everything that was going on, missing my family. It was the day of her funeral,
Yeah.
missing
Yeah.
my family, not wanting to, I think it was the day of her funeral, wishing I could be with them, but knowing I was where I was supposed to be.
Right.
And that rub. And I remember just laying in the bed going, like, how am I going to do this? Like everything. And then I just suddenly, I was like, no, mm-mm. And, and then I said, you know what? How blessed am I that I got to sleep in my own bed last night because I have a brother who's in this with me.
Yeah.
How grateful am I that I'm feeling so many things because I had a mother-in-law that was amazing.
Yeah.
How grateful am I that I'm in a position where I don't have to worry about, my job, or, if I'm going to have a job when this is all over,
Right.
when the dust all settles everywhere, you know,
Right.
and that day, that's all I had. That's all I had.
Yeah.
And then it just grew from there. And the next day I was like, take a breath. Okay, I'm grateful. And it just kind of organically happened. It
Yeah.
wasn't something I planned, but
And
it
I would
came out of
call
exacerbation, if you
right.
will. Is that
Right.
a word? Yeah. So,
That's the word. Yeah.
yeah, and exhaustion and all the
All
things.
of the things piled on top. Yeah. I
Yeah.
would actually consider that to be a stillness moment for you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like the thing that you just were saying that was hard for you.
Yeah.
And how I think too, like you said, like the things that are hard for us are usually 99.99999% of the time what we really need to be
Right.
learning or exploring about ourselves. So in the end, that least favorite situation for you, what a teacher that was for you
Mhm. No,
about,
for sure.
what your heart needed, what your
Mhm.
soul needed. And like I love what you said too about, I feel like maybe I was getting prepped, like God was kind of putting this practice in front of me to take part
Mhm.
in, or to be
Mhm.
aware of, or to be kind of, whether I stepped into it with one foot, one toe, or my whole
Yeah.
body, at least there's like it's there. It was being presented in a
Mhm.
way for you.
Yeah.
And I think that, we can't regret obviously anything that we do when we do it from the best place that we can in terms of the information that we have about where we are and the stuff that we're in the midst of and the trauma that we maybe come from and the experiences that we've had.
Mhm.
But I think too that the teacher here for us is knowing that we are capable,
Mhm.
do have the ability to choose, and it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, right?
Right. Right.
But
And
in the
and that's
end,
one thing I told somebody at work, recently, was they were talking about my positive attitude,
mhm,
and, I said, "I think that, people are under the impression that." I said, "I don't think inherently I'm a positive person." I said, "I think I don't, sunshine and rainbows aren't, coming out of my ears and all the things
yeah,
all the time." I
yeah,
said, "But I think being positive is a choice. I think
yes,
negativity is natural for all of us."
oh
Um,
right,
and I said, "But choosing to see a brighter side is a choice.
hmm,
It's a decision,
yeah,
and you can decide to be grateful and to be positive and to see the bright side, or you can decide, well, woe is me. This is the worst thing ever. We're never going to do this. This is always going to be awful. It's going to."
mm,
And then it kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes, you're it's just a habitual thing. It's this snowball
Yes.
effect that never
Yes.
stops. Yeah, I have had people in my life that have been like that. And like me, I've I've had seasons of life like that for myself.
Mhm. I mean, I
And
think we all have, yeah.
yeah, it's just it's part of it. It's
Yeah.
really part of it. I think this year for me specifically has taught me that those elements that can help us be better versions of ourselves are so crucial and so important for us to do to be able to evolve into somebody that can support that we can support ourselves in that way
Mhm.
emotionally.
Mhm.
We can emotionally regulate.
Mhm.
We can we know what it feels like when we go into this anxiety. We know
Mhm.
what it feels like. We have tangible steps or tangible things that we can do to apply when we feel a certain way.
Mhm.
So, all that being said, I've also had 20 plus years of therapy along the way. So,
Right.
thank
Right.
thank you to that because I'm gonna plug the therapy side and
Oh,
how
for
important
sure.
that
Mhm.
is when you are in the midst of something that is really heavy to unpack or the stone that we're talking about, these little stones we're talking about turning
Mhm.
over each week. I mean, sometimes you walk into this huge boulder that you got to have somebody helping you lift up and
Mhm.
together. And it's got a lot of roots and a lot of moss underneath it and a lot of just
Mhm.
creepy crawlies underneath it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And you got to have somebody help you through that. So
Mhm.
there's no shame in not being
Mhm.
okay. And there is
Not at
no
all.
shame in looking for the help that you need and asking for the help that you need in any capacity. So I think when you go through these different exercises, if you go back through and you look back at something that maybe sparked you during the year that we did, and you say, ugh, I could never do that. Maybe you consider, maybe I need to do that. Maybe
Mhm.
it would be good to. And set yourself a situation in play where you have a support system around you and a network around you that can help you walk through that door that may be challenging to walk through.
Mhm.
Because that's how we grow. And that's how
Mhm.
we become better moms, better spouses, better friends, better
Mhm.
coworkers, all the things. And I think innately, I love what you said about negativity is natural, but
Mhm.
positivity is a choice. I think innately we want to be this good experience. We want to be fulfilling. We want
Mhm.
to be connected. Like our
Yep.
soul thrives and wants that. So, how do we do that?
Yeah.
We just got to work on it.
You gotta pick it. You gotta choose it, you know?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and it's not hard. Like, it's easy. Oh, let me no, it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Love it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
simple. Gratitude, seeing the bright side, it's simple, but
Yeah.
it's not hard. It's not easy if you're not it's like reps. You gotta have everything. The more reps you have, the better you get. And it
Yes.
doesn't have to be these big things that you're thankful for. Like that day, all I could be thankful for was that I got to sleep in my bed that night.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't like, I think people think it has to be super like
Monumentous,
significant
huge.
or monument, like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm thankful for, whatever that is for you.
Yeah.
And, some days it's just, man, I'm so thankful for this cup of coffee because I'm
Yes.
tired. Like,
Yes.
and that's gratitude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all in the reframe. It's all in the reframe. So
Mhm.
whatever is not hitting you the right way, it's in a reframe,
Yeah.
instead of, oh gosh, I've got to go out and walk today. I've got to get some movement in. I'm just, oh my gosh, I've got to do it. Um, Instead of that, it's, I'm somebody who shows up for myself.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I'm somebody who shows up for myself instead of complaining about the thing that I need to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
really grateful that I'm somebody who shows up for my health and my family. It's all in the reframe. And that's the choice.
Yeah.
Simple, just not easy. But once you do it and once you get it into practice,
Mhm.
I mean, I think it changes everything. It has for me.
Oh, it changes the framework of and the trajectory of the path that you're walking.
Mhm.
Totally. Totally. I've seen it in clients' lives. I've seen it in my own life. It's harder, like you were talking earlier about, being your own worst critic. It's also really hard to notice and go, I I did something good. Like I
Right.
made a shift in my life that benefited me. And I can pat myself on the back and say that that's okay without it being egoic
Oh,
and
for sure.
a positive thing, because what that shift did was help me to grow more in my own being so that
Mhm,
I can therefore be more to the community that surrounds me. I
mhm.
can pour more. I can
Yeah.
do more in a loving, non-codependent,
Right.
let me throw that one in there, non-codependent kind of situation. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I love what you said. Simple. It's simple. It's not easy. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a choice.
It
Make
is.
the choice. Oh,
Yes.
Dixie. Ah,
You drink water, I'll do yoga.
okay. All right. Till I'm gonna report back next week that that I drank
Oh,
ounces
right,
of or water. Yeah, I'm gonna report back.
right. Oh my gosh, for
Oh, all
sure.
right. Well, so that was I thank you so much for the conversation today. As always, love talking with you
Absolutely.
and wrapping
Yeah.
this all out with you. So great. And next week we're going to cover our favorite.
Favorite. Yes.
Yay! Maybe
Ending
we'll
on
be
a good note.
yes, there we go. Not that this isn't a good note. It's
But
just
that wasn't a
it's
bad note, so it's just,
a challenging note.
yeah.
We can have challenging notes and it's okay.
Yes, challenge is real.
Challenge is real and it's what makes life full, you know?
Yeah,
It really
yeah.
is. All right, kids. Well, until next time, I'm Dawn and
I'm Dixie.
yay, we'll see you next time.
Yes.